Was that too loud for you? I'm so sorry. Let me get that right. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
Can you speak again, Tom, please?
Good morning.
Speak longer, because I guess your voice is breaking. No,
Right.
wait. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
It was like digitalized at the beginning, but it's sounding great now. Great.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I'll be quiet.
In your
Sure.
mountain. In your mountain.
Okay. All right.
Good morning, everybody. Today, there is no love but God's. It's actually that way every day, but workbook lesson number 127. Boy, oh boy. Can't believe we managed to make this work every single day. All right. Let's see if I can reset this. I got a happy smile on everybody's face. Is it working the way it's supposed to? All right, one more little thing to reset and then I'll be ready to go. I got 2 brand new computers yesterday and I've been trying to figure out how to get everything to work. Yet again. I sure can. Yes, I can. Thank God I got some music to play at least, right? Alright. That is done. Moderation on its way. Okay. Oh, I had my mic open the whole time. Well, for those of you following along in your books, we're getting really close to the page. In fact, so close that I've got it showing. There is no love but God's. I'm so grateful you're here with me. It makes it worthwhile. Here we go. Lesson 127. Perhaps you think that different kinds of love are possible. Perhaps you think there's a kind of love for this and a kind of love for that. A way of loving one. Another way of loving still another. Love is one. Love has no separate parts, no degrees, no kinds, nor levels, no divergencies, and no distinctions. Love is like itself, unchanged throughout. Love never alters with a person or a circumstance. I know. Love is the heart of God, and also love is the heart of God's Son. Love's meaning is obscure to anyone who thinks that love can change. He who does not understand that love is changeless does not see that changing love must be impossible, and thus he thinks that he can love at times and hate at other times. He who does not understand that love is changeless also thinks that love can be bestowed on one, yet remain itself, although love is withheld from others. To believe these things of love is not to understand love. If love could make such distinctions, love would have to judge between the righteous and the sinner and perceive the Son of God in separate parts. Love cannot judge. As love is one itself. As love is one itself, love looks on all as one. Love's meaning lies in oneness, and love's meaning must elude the mind that thinks of love as partial or in part. There is no love but God's love, and all of love is God's love. There is no other principle that rules where love is not. Love is a law without an opposite. Love's wholeness is in the power of holding everything as one. Love is the link between the Father and the Son. It is love which holds the Father and Son both forever as the same. No course whose purpose is to teach you to remember what you really are could fail to emphasize that there can never be a difference in what you really are, which is your higher self, and what love is. Love's meaning is your own meaning, and shared by God Himself. For what you are, which is only love, is what God is. There is no love but God's love, and what God is everything that there is. There is no limit placed upon God Himself, and so are you, your higher self, your big S self, completely unlimited as well. No law the fear-based egoic world obeys can help you grasp love's meaning. The laws that seem to govern this world are what the world believes and were made by the ego to hide love's meaning and to keep the love of God dark and secret. Son of an ego. Really got us with that one. There is not one principle the fear-based egoic world upholds, but every single last one of them violates the truth of what God's love is and what you, your higher self, is as well. Sometimes they put the word but in here in a sentence in a way that we hardly ever use in today's English, but it means to negate every possible other way out in a way that even the ego couldn't overcome. It's all covered with this. Okay, paragraph 6. Seek not within the fear-based egoic world to find your big S self. Love is not found in darkness and in death. Yet love is perfectly apparent to the eyes that see and the ears that hear. Sorry there. Something pop in front. Yet love is perfectly apparent to the eyes that see and the ears that hear love's voice. Today, we practice making free your mind of all the laws of the egoic world that your split mind thinks you must obey. All of the limits under which you live and all the changes that you think are part of human destiny. Today, we will take the largest single step this course requests in your advance toward this course's established goal of reawakening you to the truth. All the limits and all the changes that you think are part of human destiny. I screwed that one up. Sorry. Today we practice making free your mind of all the laws of the egoic world that your split mind thinks you must obey, all of the limits under which you live, and all the changes that you think are a part of human destiny. Today, we take the largest single step this course requests in your advance towards this course's established goal of reawakening you to the truth of your big S self. If you achieve the faintest glimmering of what love means today, you've advanced in distance without measure and in time beyond the count of years to your release. Let us together then be glad to give some time to God today and understand there's no better use for time than discovering what God's love means. For 15 minutes twice today, escape from every law of your ego's world in which you now believe. Open your mind and rest. The world that seems to hold you prisoner can be escaped by anyone who does not hold the world of your ego dear. Withdraw all value you have placed upon the world of your ego's meager offerings and senseless gifts, and let the gift of God replace them all. Call to your Father, certain that His voice, the Holy Spirit, will answer. Your Father Himself has promised this answer, and your Father Himself will place a spark of truth within your higher self, your higher self's mind, wherever you give up a false belief, a dark illusion of your own little s self-reality, and what love means according to your ego. The Holy Spirit will shine through your ego's idle thoughts today. Lost one, didn't I?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know, but it's okay.
Yes.
Here we go. The Holy Spirit will shine through your ego's idle thoughts today and help you understand the truth of God's love. In loving gentleness, your Father will abide with you as you allow God's voice to teach love's meaning to your clean and open mind. And the Holy Spirit will bless the lesson with God's love. Today, the legion of the future years of waiting for salvation disappears before the timelessness of what you learn. Let us give thanks today that we are spared a future like the fear-based past. Today we leave the fear-based past behind us, never more to be remembered, and we raise our eyes upon a different present, where a future dawns unlike the fear-based past in every attribute. The world in infancy is newly born, and we will watch a new, loving world grow in health and strength to shed its blessing upon all who come to learn to cast aside the fear-based world they thought was made in hate to be love's enemy. Now they are all made free, along with us, and now are they all our brothers and sisters and parents and grandparents in God's love. Everybody is invited. Paragraph 12. We will remember all our brothers throughout the day because we cannot leave a part of us outside our love if we would know our big S self, our higher self. At least 3 times an hour, think of a brother or sister who makes this journey with you and who came to learn what you must learn. And as he or she comes to mind, give them this message from your higher self. I bless you, brother, with the love of God, which I would share with you. For I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's, and yours, and mine, and everyone's love. And that's the last phrase from this book today. Welcome back, Dad. There we go. And now I've got him back. We can share this part here. Bear with me while I adjust a couple of things. Good morning, everybody. Come up and say good morning while I push some pixels around here for a sec. Got everybody back where they belong.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Caroline.
Hi.
All right. Looks like it's working. Hopefully you guys can see at least part of this share. So I'll do that part here. And turning the page, we get to the notes. Tom, any clarity from the Amazon whether or not we've got something I can buy yet? All right.
I
Tom,
got
you're
an email
muted.
from Tom yesterday. Is that the same thing?
No, that was a class. And
I
yeah,
would,
I got that
you
email
could,
too, Tom.
I would wait until this weekend. They're supposed to get everything hopefully resolved at the beginning of the week. I mean, it depends what you want to get. So I would just hold for a couple more days.
Can do, Buckaroo. No problem. We got this. All right.
Is it going to be on Kindle?
Yes,
Can I-
ma'am.
Then
I'm going to buy it on stream.
Yeah, all the books are on Kindle now. They're all on paperback and Kindle. The problem that I have right now is because they're changing the titles. They're trying to get the reviews switched over, and they can only review them or transfer the reviews on the Kindle and not on the paperback. So I want to see how it all settles out before I ask people to give reviews or buy the book, so that they're buying the right book, because each one, because of the way they keep track of things, are separate reviews and separate uh, rankings. And what's going to happen is I used to be ranked number one. It was on page one for Course in Miracles, general things, various areas, and I'm going to lose those rankings. So I want to postpone people putting reviews on until everything gets settled and they can put it on the right books, or buy the right books that they decide are the ones that they're uh, eventually keeping, that they can keep. So it's kind of complicated, but I hope to have it all resolved. You could buy them right now. I mean, you've been able to buy them, but they won't necessarily go on the right rankings. And whenever I've got so many different editions out there, that splits the rankings, and the reviews are very important. So that's why I'm asking you if you could, to just postpone it. But eventually, once it gets settled and we know what books to put the reviews on, or what final one to buy, then I'll ask you to, maybe if you want to place reviews, so that I can get my rankings back, because
You
I'm
got
going to
it.
be dropping down. And
No
I'd
problem.
like to recover
Thank you.
the page one rankings, because
No
those are
problem. We'll make
important.
sure. And
So
I have, so
that
far I've seen
people
all the
can,
rankings together, so it looks
yeah,
like they're transferring too.
yeah. So like on the Kindles, like if you're looking at the text, uh, those are going to probably be fine if you wanted to buy Understanding A Course in Miracles text, the ebook or the volume one or the volume two, if you need the
It's
paperback.
all good.
And
We'll
so,
we'll
yeah,
show the result
it'll
when we
be
get there.
explained. And I appreciate people's efforts and concern to get me back where I don't, where maybe the Holy Spirit put me, because I never asked for people to send those reviews or anything like that. This time I'm going to maybe encourage them to. Thank you.
I can see that it's all working out in the best possible way already. It's not a big deal. And as soon as you're ready, we can buy one live. But for today, I've got the notes and I'm going to read through these guys, and we can take this lesson to heart today. There is no love but God's. Lesson 127. This idea that there is no love but God's love is a difficult concept to grasp, because it conflicts with traditional thought. We've been taught that there are numerous forms of love. Our philosophies around, actually they abound. Our philosophies abound about the many different types and stages of the human experience that our world refers to as love. In the fear-based world of the ego, love is constantly changing. You can love someone today and hate them tomorrow. Or you can love someone and then withhold your love from another. Love appears to be in a constant state of flux, ebbing and flowing with each emotional swing and change in our circumstance. In the world of time and space, both change and opposites appear to exist and be the reality of our world. After all, time is the measure of change, and the ego tells us that opposites are required if we are to learn through the process of differentiation. If there was only one uniform substance of which we were all a part, what would there be for us to learn? We would be that one, and to be is to know. The world we perceive was not created by God. Rather, it's the product of our mind's own inner imagination. Our mind's belief system colors the world that we observe with our physical senses. Our physical senses are mere thought confirmation devices to prove the correctness of our mind's point of view. This is the world. This world is the product of our egoic fear forces as something that we need for our survival. It's valuing and acquiring of these supposed limited resources that imprison us in our fear-based thought system and hide the unlimited nature of our big S, higher selves. The transient things of this world become our ego's idols that replace God's love. Our ego believes that those who give us what we need love us, and those who fail to comply with our ego's plans for our happiness hate us. It's important to note that when you follow the laws of this world, you will be incapable of recognizing what true love is. Due to your belief in separation, you will always question the motives of others. Since our egoic world teaches that you only give to get, each party believes everyone must also be following that same principle. Because of this limiting belief, even if you were the recipient of true, unconditional love, you would fail to perceive its presence. Because of this world's law, that each only gives to get, We believe that love's flow is contingent upon the goodwill of the giver or the recipient's ability to earn love. When you believe love can change, you become incapable of accepting the flow of God's unconditional love into your life. Within your own mind, you replace God's unconditional love with the notion that love must be earned. A God of unconditional love must be a judgmental God. A God of conditional love must be a judgmental God. Egoic conditional love is based on fear. It's not real love. It's made to replace God's unconditional love with fear and specialness. Conditional love is based on a special bartering relationship between two parties. Each gives to the other with the expectation of some equivalent or greater return. Each is seeking a good deal. The special relationship is the embodiment of the give-to-get principle that rules the world. Being separate from God, our source, our ego tells us that we need special alliances with other vulnerable parties if we're to survive. Yet God's love never alters based on the person or circumstance. It's changeless, and it does not judge. God's love flows endlessly, and it's never withheld from anyone. The oneness of God knows everything is perfect, whole, and complete. A oneness of all that is has no opposites. God's love is the only law. In the real world, there are no alternate realities, since all egoic fantasies are equally unreal. There is no difference between what you are and God, since only love is real, for love is everything. In the next few lessons, we will continue to explore the interconnection between love, the egoic world of provisional reality, and forgiveness. And the question of today, and I'll put it in the chat, is if you believed love could be earned, how would you ever be sure that you were the giver or the recipient of unconditional love? And we'll get ready and have a meditation around this lesson in just a minute. I'll give you another couple of minutes to say hi, and we'll settle in for that. Welcome, everybody. Happy Saturday morning. There is no love but God's. We are truly the life force within us, and not the vessel that life force carries. But to get into that higher plane of existence, let's realize that these bodies are supported completely by whatever is right underneath us. Right now, in your world, there's a surface supporting your body completely. You're not falling to the ground. You're safe. You're complete. And so let's use that surface as part of us. Let that energy inside of you reach down like a tree growing roots on a camera that's showing really, really slow speed film. And so it looks like it's growing super fast. It's a 100-year-old tree, but those roots can shoot down into the earth And our earth sustains us in so many ways. But let's come back to the image of light. The heat and the warmth that's inside of our earth, our eyeballs may not perceive as light, but that energy is the energy we're really talking about. And it flows into our lives in thousands of ways. Sometimes it shows up as money, food, friends. It shows up in every dimension, way past the ones we see and experience. In that true existence, that higher plane, that fifth dimension and beyond, that's where the love that we talk about exists. It permeates us and everything we see. That can choose to be our focus as our experience in life gives us the option to pull the experiences that as children of God we need to realize that as children of God we are part of God with all the access to all the information God has provided to us by grace and blessing. In every direction we turn, there is no love but God's. Take a minute to slow your breathing down. Let your mind slip into a calm, peaceful state. I'll read these words that Jesus spoke to our sister, the closest thing we have to hearing the voice for God with these ears. Thank goodness He can translate the information to us in a way that we can perceive in these bodies. The grace of God is all around us. Love's true meaning might feel obscure when we're stuck in our ego perspective. But the thing you can count on when we come back to the unity of God, in our oneness, love is our primary conduit. It sources the information that teaches us what we need to know to transcend. We come out of the womb with this love. It is the true life force that is sustaining to us in so many ways. And you can have it on your own, by yourself. You can have it with another partner. It seems like we have partners out there, but we're all one. It's us working with us, doing our best to try and show the other us our best us. Our higher self. That's what we do our best to show up as. So, we're learning what that kind of love means. That love doesn't judge. As it's one itself, it looks on all as one. And its meaning lies in oneness. It must elude the mind that thinks of it as partial, because you can't separate God's love. And there is no love but God's, and all of love is His. There's no other principle which rules where love is not. Love is a law without an opposite. Its wholeness is the power holding everything as one, the link between the Father and the Son, which holds them both forever as the same. We are the Father and the Son and the daughter and the everything existing in the grace. no laws of the world we see with our eyes can grasp love's true meaning. The world behaves to hide love's meaning, keep it in the dark. There's not one principle the world upholds but violates the truth of what love is and what you are as well. Today, we practice making free our minds of all the laws we think we must obey. There are no limits under which we live, and all the changes we think are part of human destiny. Today, we take the largest single step this course requests in our advance towards its established goal. If today you achieve the faintest glimmering of what love means, you've advanced a distance without measure and in time beyond the count of years to your release. Let us together be glad to give some time to God today and understand there is no better use for time than this. Today, call your Father, Mother, God. Call out to God, certain that its voice will answer. He has promised this, and He will place a spark of truth within your mind wherever you give up a false belief, a dark illusion of your own reality and what love means. He will shine throughout your idle thoughts today to help you understand the truth of love. In loving gentleness, He will abide with you as you allow His voice to teach love's meaning to your clean and open mind. Today, He will bless this lesson with His love. Let us give thanks today that we are spared a future like the past. Today we can leave the past behind us, never more to be remembered, and we raise our eyes upon a different present, where a future dawns, unlike the past in every attribute. Today our mantra is, I bless you, brother, with the love of God, which I would share with you, for I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's, and yours, and mine, and everyone's. Today, let's take a moment in silence to come back to this thought. When you come out of your meditative state, I'll be here to help you remember to set your timer, like I do every morning at about 6:30, if you can join us, either here in Clubhouse or on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or any of the other places. You can go to A Course in Miracles.live, but basically the big link up above is going to point you back to this meditation so that you can come back and do it again if you wish. I'm so grateful that it's here so I can come back and hear what I had to say, because I'll be damned if I can remember half the time what I say. And that's at least the grace of God from my perspective. I can allow Him to work the instrument instead of trying to do anything at all. So blessings for coming here. I really appreciate you. Take some time to come back to the room, and whenever you're ready, please feel free to share. You can raise your hands and come up if you wish. Thank you very much. I'm going to reset the hand raising and welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me this morning.
This lesson here really, kind of strikes home with me because about 50 years ago, I had the good fortune of coming across someone that I believe really probably loved me unconditionally in this fear-based world, and uh, it's was in some ways a wonderful experience. But it really drives home this question, which is, if you believe love could be earned, how would you ever be sure you were the giver or the recipient of unconditional love? At that time in my life, I was like 23 or so. I didn't understand at all what love was, and I believed love was conditional, that love had to be earned. And when I came across this person, she was wonderful. She was, you know, self-sufficient. She was complete, perfect, whole, pretty much just the way she was. And because of that, she really didn't demand anything of me. I mean, she would have supported me. Wanted to be a subsistence farmer, that was fine with her. I wanted to go off and be a spiritual person, that was fine with her. Anything I did was fine with her. She just wanted me to be happy, kind of like in that son of the prodigal son story. She just wanted me to be happy, and she just probably wanted me to be with her. But she was willing, if I said, well, really what I want to do is I want to build a shelter or a home for ourselves, and it'd be a hut, she would have been fine with that. Uh, but because I believed that love had to be earned, I was incapable of figuring out some way that I could earn her love. It was freely given to me. I didn't have to do anything, but I didn't understand that. I was so sure that I had to earn her love, and I just couldn't figure out any way that I could do that because she, had a great job. She could support me. She didn't want anything from me except I guess, my presence. But I didn't see myself as anybody's treasure. I felt that somehow I had to earn that love. And because of my uh, misunderstanding about myself, and because I couldn't really love myself unconditionally, I could not believe that I was entitled to that. And I could never figure out how I could possibly continue to be the recipient of that unconditional. If anything, the problem with her in my own egoic mind was that she was perfect, whole, and complete, and therefore there was nothing I could give her to hold her, because I thought that that's what love does, that love binds and love lets someone free. And even whenever I was, said I had to leave, she was saying, whatever you want, I'd like you to stay. I'll do anything you want, but you know, if you have to leave, you know, I guess, I want you to be happy. Uh, so just realizing that sometimes we're here to learn lessons, and one of the lessons.
Wasn't out, I mean, that was out of order is because you are not trusting that everything is in order. So, of course, the reaction part of our dynamics in the level of the form is really something that I didn't understand deeply. And I'm remembering Bob's words the other day when we were with Dinesh talking about our feelings and emotions and how we had to sometimes be strong, and that's okay. I mean, I'm still in my mindset that if for some reason you had to react with a strong voice for something, mm, well, the first thing that you need to understand is that, well, if that happened, that happened, and the first one, you need to forgive it yourself for doing that kind of reaction, if it was a strong reaction. But honestly, in the deep sense of things that we are learning here, Bob was right. Reaction is the thing that we need to learn to master. It's not that you are not allowed to have a reaction, it's the way you react on things that really creates a block, like a spark. If you take the example of or the analogy that Tom always uses about a circuit. The circuit is there just to go just to be in flow. I mean, to allow the flow of energy. So in some part of the circuit, there's a spark. The flow of energy gets interrupted, or it deviates to someplace else. But those sparks that are our reactions creates like a resistance to energy in some form. So the reaction creates friction. That energy is a spark that gives us a flow resistance. So it is important for us to understand this very same lesson, that there's not other love than God's in everything, is to understand that really the detachment on everything of this world. I mean, it doesn't mean that you don't get to have, and please understand this really deeply, because it's not that you don't get to have emotions. Is that in the deep sense of your knowledge, we need to understand that detachment ends those kind of explosive reactions or those sparks of energy. And when those sparks of energy are not there, the conflict is released, because then you are not putting that resistance on place. And if there's no resistance, the energy can flow. And when the energy flows, everything is attached, everything is together, everything is embracing things. So there's different types of love that we learn at the level of the form, and we can have that. I mean, I really think that the course is not saying to us that, well, you need to love your partner as you can love any other people, and you can give them the same kind of interaction that you have with your significant other. Is not that. Is in the deep sense of your mind and in your being, that everybody that is around you is just yourself. So whatever happens say hi to them and I say like without giving them words, but saying welcome, welcome to this life. I mean, welcome to my world, because they were there with Vera. And then I understood, yeah, there's no difference. I'm really glad and grateful for that girl in my ex-husband's life, even if they don't have a specific relationship established right now. But I know that they are good for them in the moment. So I embrace them instead of reacting onto some things. So when we really deeply understand that everything that is around us is for a greater purpose than you think, you will detach yourself from the control that you think you need to have on things, and then you became just the vessel to communicate the love, because as the course says, help and healing are the normal expressions of the mind that is working through the body, but not in it. Body is just to communicate. The body is just to communicate. So if you get yourself around the idea that your reactions over things, over words, over people, over stuff, is what creates, what sources your experience, then you're really going to master the process that the Course in Miracles is teaching you. Because even if you have a thunder, if you were the thunder, and sometimes you will understand that that was for a greater purpose, that is part of the single one love that we are all in this world, and that will be worth for something, but you don't get you don't get to be identified with anger. You just let it flow, let it go. With sadness, you can have sadness and you can express sadness because it is for a greater purpose, but you are not identifying yourself with sadness, because you will know that it's part of the flow of energy, and you will let it go, let it be. You will not attach to it, or you will not try to resist to it. So I wanted to give this because for me, between yesterday and Thursday, I had this huge lesson over my reactions, and I know that this will make the whole world of difference when I come back to Merida, because I will have to be there on Monday, but I'm not longer living there in that house, so I will be again around all of them. But now I know my part on reaction. I learned my lesson on reaction. So I'm really sure that now I have the Holy Spirit to guide me, to help me, and that will be really easy for me to bring peace and maybe help Kurt, for example, my ex-husband, to be at peace as well and welcome his new life, and maybe help his new his new love to be more certain that it is welcome. So I hope this helps to the lesson. I think for myself that it is really a blessing to have this part of the lesson, saying like, well, this is like repeating the thing, but I'm sorry. I bless you, brother, with the love of God, which I will share with you, for I will learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's, and yours and mine are everyone's. So I learned my lesson about reaction, finally, and I needed to have some sort of experiences, strong experiences, like thunders, in order for me to realize that, yes, we can have thunders, but we don't really need to be the thunder.
Okay, my turn.
So, thank
you. Thank you, Adriana. The learnings abound in this household. I can tell you my lifelong lesson of learning to be patient and listen still coming up every second, even this morning. For me to be a little bit more patient and wait a little bit longer and hear Adriana's better lesson than I could have imagined her saying. It was absolutely a miracle to me in a bunch of different ways. She's a great example of how to work with an ex for the best and highest good of the children. I interrupt people, and I hate it when I do it, and I battle my own ego to try and get it to stop, but it is like trying to stop a maniacal person from hitting a big red button. Hi, Janine. And unfortunately, I think my ADD, ADHD, whatever letters you want to put in there, contributes rather than helps to the problem. But I can blame 1,000 different things for it, or I can remember that my primary lessons to learn here on Earth this time around seem to be a little bit more patient and listen a little bit longer. Bite my tongue a little bit more, not so I hurt myself, but just gently. Just try to shut up for a little bit longer. So, plenty of lessons here to learn. I know the more I hear, the happier I am. And love as a teacher is a lot easier than my ego as a teacher, and life, this world, as a teacher. So I can forgive myself again and come back. I've had the same kind of conflict in relationships for years. The other person says, "You're impatient." The other person says, "You're reacting. You get angry for no reason at all. You're defensive. You're defensive." And I knew I got defensive. And when I followed up why anybody might get defensive, I get defensive because I thought I was being attacked. But the other person didn't see their attack. They didn't see their part that they contributed. And so everybody thought I was a crazy person because I'm just defensive for no reason. And I tried to communicate why, and I don't think I ever got words out for it. But Adriana put her finger on it the other day, and it was my latest revelation, my latest miracle in my life. For days, 3 or 4 days in a row, we had a conflict. Maybe mild conflict, but it was enough of a conflict that it was super clear to us that there was some misalignment. There was something that we were missing. And I kept picking at it and picking at it and picking at it until Adriana had the revelation that she needed to have so that I could have the revelation that I needed to have. And the miracles stacked on each other, and they taught me that what the Course says is true. Even the tiniest itty-bitty reaction can be the thing that lights a fuse, that sets off a bomb, that the ego cannot ignore. The slightest little in somebody's voice or glance on their face in a sidelong way that you've seen them do dozens of times before can carry the reasoning that your ego needs to condemn them. It only takes the tiniest little bit from our partner to set our own egos screaming. And I've been blessed with a relationship where there's enough peace and enough love to slow down and identify these things early in a relationship. Much farther earlier than usually I get a chance to assume their reactions. It feels like it takes years sometimes to learn all of the idiosyncrasies of somebody, but this case is different, and it's teaching me faster than ever. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful to be able to share it with everybody that comes here. And I know it's probably annoying sometimes to come here. So many different things that I'm doing, and can I just read the stupid book? And sometimes I try, and sometimes I fail, and sometimes I try, and sometimes I succeed. But I'm grateful that you're here so I can try yet again. to come back to the lesson today. There's no love but God's. 127 days into this year, more than a year, every single morning on Clubhouse, Dad and I show up, and people are gathering and supporting, and I couldn't be more grateful. So thanks for coming yet again. Blessings to you all. I can't wait to hear what miracles are happening in your life. I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Lee. I always love your sharing. You and Adriana, your stories are always, there's lessons in them. And I get miracles from all of you when I hear your shifts and what you're going through. And hi, everybody. I apologize. I was dozing in the background as I was up late last night, so I wasn't with it. I think a couple of people sent me invites, and I was like, oh, people sent me invites. But
Good morning.
yes, good morning. I did hear you, Lee, and it was good to hear that from a male perspective, because it gave me some insight about Bernard. I think I'd shared with you guys that we had been in a relationship a couple times, on and off over the years. Like over the past 10 years, we had like always bumping heads, and now, because of me being in the Course of Miracles, of, studying all that I study, I'm different. I've shifted. I'm at peace. And the relationships he had been in between, since we've been together, it's been about 3 years now, were not peaceful. And he was living with this woman, and he was talking about how she was just personally kind of not at peace, and she didn't bring peace into the household. And so they broke up. He had to get her out of the house, or they, decided, it was over. And he's so happy now. He has all this peace, and now he has peace with me in our relationship, and he's not really used to it. And I could tell he's very tentative with me. And I recognize that, I can just give him the space. I don't really, sometimes the ego would kick up and say, well, I need him to do this, or I need him to do that. I need him to text me, call me more, do this and that. But when I'm still, I feel him. I feel that he's just tentative and just kind of like what you were saying, Lee, like, wow, I don't have to be combative. I don't have to be defensive. I don't have to. This is actually peaceful, and I think he's just adjusting. And I have to allow him that space. I don't need to demand things from him to do this or that. And he's kind of like, wow, is this really real? This woman, is this peaceful? Yes, and I'm fine. And if he doesn't text at a certain time, or he doesn't call at a certain time, it's fine. And when we talk, and it's beautiful. And when we're together, it's beautiful. And the more I stay in God's love and knowing that I'm loved, it's all love, it just feels wonderful. Thank you. That's all I wanted to share this morning, at least for now.
I can't wait to meet this guy. Girl, he is so lucky, and you are so blessed. It's going to be wonderful. I have the highest hopes. It's wonderful. Beautiful.
Yeah, I feel the same. Go ahead,
Good
Janine.
morning, Andy. It's your turn, my friend. You were with your
Andy.
mic on.
Go ahead. Well, Janine
I
was
was
going
just going
to
to say I
say
should
something.
bring him in here. That would be funny.
Oh my gosh, that would be great. I was just thinking, and good morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm listening. Oh boy, am I listening. Of course, I'm going to share something that I was experiencing while I was listening. I recognize something that happens, and for me, I react automatically, and I can't control that. I cannot control it until it's already happened. In other words, that's when I recognize that there's still energy that has to be released. Otherwise, I wouldn't really know it. I wouldn't know it unless it actually showed up, unless it surfaced. I wouldn't recognize it unless something, some situation, someone else's reaction created me to respond with a reaction. And it sounds beautiful to think that I can control each moment, but it's not beautiful. I've tried to do that in the past. It wasn't beautiful. It was very daunting to try to control future events. And I found that I would be suppressing some energy, and it would only be released in my body later as pain. I'd have to give it attention at some point. So if it wants to come up and out, I'm welcoming it. I'm just a lot. It's just going to happen. It's not even something I can control. I'm finding, and when I do see it, and it didn't feel like it gave me a result, that's when I say, okay, let it be there and let it express itself outward. And the reason I know this is because of the anxiety issues that I had for so many years.
Yeah, it was
Look at
funny
that.
because everything was a run of furniture that we were building.
Well, look at that. Well, look at that. It does. It's absolutely you're gonna be building in the material. That's all there is to it. And that's what we do here. And it's okay. It's okay. It's good. We it's great, actually. It's what we do. Otherwise
It
we
is. It
wouldn't be
really
here.
is.
That's it.
And it's not, doesn't have to be hard either. And the way that I have to control the reaction, because I have to, if I'm going to try and be the best partner I can be, is to take a breath. One single breath is all it takes to come back and remember that love is at the core here. Goodness gracious, her
Well, that breath
reactions are going to
in,
be love. I just have to find the way to see it that way.
well, when that breath out happens, we're automatically releasing it. So yeah, rather than trying to like get mad and walk away and hold it in still. So even if you're going to do a breath in and a breath out, that's a great reaction and release because you're not running from it. That's great.
I
You know what I
I
mean? Like,
totally
yeah, it
agree.
doesn't have to be a snap
Anything
back.
would do, but
Yep.
if
We
she
just have
just
to
takes a
realize
second. Yeah, just a
Yes,
second
we
to
just don't
realize.
want to run from it. You know what I mean? We just don't want to try to like hide it and suppress it at all. Whatever. We just,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Look, what happened exactly, specifically, so you can understand the dynamics, is that I reacted. I was the one to trigger the bomb because we were building an ice table.
It's a
Ice
whole
table.
process.
Mariana,
Oh,
wait, wait,
something's
wait.
loud.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Lee. It was Lee. Sorry.
Well, it's a whole process. We don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. We
No,
don't
but no,
know.
but no, no, no. But let me tell you because this is funny. We were building this nightstand, and I reacted over a nail that went like in the wrong way and damaged the wood. But it was like inward the furniture, so it wouldn't be. I mean, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing that will give us trouble to finish the task, or
It was
it was nothing.
everything.
It was what?
It was everything.
Ah, okay, he's making fun of me. So when the nail went wrong, I was just reacting like, oh, the nail. And I was mad because of the decisions we made together, but I wasn't even looking at him or saying something at him. And he took
I
it.
held the hammer that hit the nail the wrong way.
So he was the one who did the movement, but the decision to put the nail in the place that we were putting it was ours, not only him. So when everything blew up because he felt like judge and he was mad at me and I was mad at him and I couldn't even listen to him, I have to go out because I said I don't want to talk anymore because then this is going to be a huge problem. He finally could like easily, he always does that and I always admire that on him, that when he realizes the problem, he really is very fast on moving from conflict to love. He's like fast. So we
It
as
just takes a
women,
breath. One breath.
yeah, for you. But for me it was like I came down and I started to work again in my computer and I was, but why is this happening to me, not only with him but with every single relationship that I had? So I was really looking at this conflict not like something personal, an attack to me, but like this curious thing that was repetitive in several parts of my life. So I was really like mad, like, but what is this happening again? Why is this happening again? And in this situation that has nothing to do with the love that we have for each other, and I'm not willing to have this in my relationship again. So what is there that I need to understand in my side? Because making damage control is all that we do in our relationships. When you have a special relationship and you have a fight, all you do is damage control afterwards. So you try to talk with the person and come into new agreements, but my thoughts inside was, but why do I need to do damage control if I can learn what it is that triggered the situation to not do it again? If it is something on my side, and I was like really insisting, no, I'm gonna go through this. So Lee came down and he was all happy again, and I was, how can he be happy if I'm feeling mad? So he had to sit down and we have to speak about this, and we got into a circular um, conversation that wasn't getting into any point. And it was really reaction after reaction, reaction after reaction, reaction after reaction. Then we had the lesson yesterday, and through the yesterday's lesson and all the things that happened yesterday during the day, I really understand, oh my god, it's the reaction, it's not the event itself. Because I was really very strongly defending the idea that we as humans have this animal instinct that if something is break, if a glass broke, I of course will do the reaction of, and that doesn't mean anything. So you don't need to react to that. That was my point, right?
Well, you
But
know
of
what?
course, then I understood deeply, deeply, deeply that you get to have those reactions. It is cool, okay? I know that we all do it. But really, to understand the part of you don't need to do nothing of this book, it is about that. It's not that you don't get to do nothing about life, it's that you don't need to do nothing because you don't need to react onto everything. So that's the peaceful mastering, I guess, because I really could sense, I mean, I really sense, could sense or feel the switch within me when I really understand, oh my God, it's my reaction. I shouldn't react that way because I really gave a huge, oh, the nail, like if the furniture was all wrong. And that was the bomb. And I was blaming him because he was mad at my reaction, and then all went to. So it's really the reaction is the key point. We need to master it, not to not have it, not to not having reactions, but the intensity, the level.
You
It's
know,
what we need to moderate,
I have a
I guess.
question. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a question because you said you were blaming him. Maybe the idea here is maybe the like to try to not react is not a helpful for me, but maybe the idea for me that would be most beneficial is to not blame, but for somebody for my reaction, since they weren't born in my shoes and haven't been along with me to understand me. They are not me, period. So whatever I reacted to was not what it looked like, right? It's only the
Sorry.
moment of something. Yeah. So then we just can say, wait, they're not the blame. I'll just allow this reaction to happen in me and not be, not, of course, yeah. We're like,
If you can
every
not
birth
make
is
it see from the outside, the problem is like she didn't have to do anything. It didn't
right.
have to be English. It was the tiniest little sigh. There's just nothing you can do. Sometimes your hands are tied in these situations and you're going to react. Oh my God, but the blessings, if you could hold it in and then carefully find some way to redirect it, you can absolutely make a miracle out of it in a second, Andy. No doubt.
I'm going to say, I'm trying to get a point across that I'm having a hard time like putting into words because I'm not a very concise person, but it's like if you react, if we react, which is going to happen, we're alive and that's what happens. Whether the other person knows it or not, they're going to know. But if we are allow the reaction and not be offended by someone else's reaction is probably more key, because it's like, okay, this is my reaction, this is their reaction.
Yeah,
I don't
but
want to
that was
blame them.
that was the lesson. Exactly, that was the
Yeah,
lesson. I I
yeah.
was I was reacting to the furniture, and he reacted to my annoyance on the
But
furniture.
but
But the
actually, I want to
furniture
take it
itself,
deep. I just want to take a little bit deeper with that idea, though, because you reacted to something, but that was probably some reaction you've had in the
yeah,
past or before Lee even existed. So,
yeah,
yeah, so there's or not existed, because before he existed in your life, yeah, it's like so deep here that why should we be offended or take anything personal, right? And no, I know you're not, but when you have a discussion like, I did this because of this, I shouldn't have done this, I said this because of this, and try to figure out which one of you had a part in it, I would just be like, there was a part in it from our ancestors. I mean, it came from our ancestors, Lee. Let's just forget it.
yeah,
Let's
whatever,
let the reaction
whatever. But the
out.
big lesson there for both of us, the thing is that remember that we are one. So what I was learning, he was learning as well. So the huge revelation for me was that I didn't need I didn't need to do nothing in terms of my judgment on how perfect things should look. And for him is he need to do nothing when somebody else around him have a problem or a conflict with other things,
It's like you don't
because
need to do anything now that you know,
reacted.
but then you
Hmm.
did it. You just did it. So it
Yeah,
happened.
But
So
it's still the
yeah,
truth.
that was great.
you forgive it, but you have the knowledge of the learning, So for example,
Hmm.
in my point of view, for me, it's super helpful because now I know that I am the one who has been probably throwing bombs that I didn't even knew that I was doing. because I am really judgmental about how things should look. I mean, for example, if I have a sweater and it gets caught in the laundry and it gets a little bit damaged, I feel bad about those things because I want them to look pretty, you know? So that is judgment. And that is me not realizing that things are things and that things can be changed or whatever. So my reaction has to be moderate in some form, because if I always gonna get mad because one shirt gets damaged, well, I am the one who is putting herself in an experience of non peace. So it is for me a dual lesson here, in him against other people, in me against all the things that I see that has to be in a specific way. You know, it is my control issue probably, but the reaction part of it was my biggest revelation, because I didn't even knew that I could be the I mean, I could be the trigger of this thing, you know? And this happened to me in the past with other partners. So for me, it was really
Yes, I see.
the deep
This lesson
experience.
and every lesson is like a rose, and as many petals are on a rose are the lessons within each of these lessons, because it's all one. It's all coming back to love. And so truly, we could sit here and talk for days, because every lesson is this same lesson. It's the ego's first and loudest, but it only happens inside of our heads. We don't have to let the ego's reactions out. If we can pause long enough to get the Holy Spirit's guidance, it's pure love every time. And their reaction is a blessing every time. That tiny little... Right, here's a tough one for me. When I drive with my mom is always scared at something. There's a a bump in the road, or somebody getting ready to pull out. Even if they pull to a full stop, there might be a all kinds of noises. I mean, it's really a challenge for my ego to not take those judgments and multiply them in my mind, because I don't want to make my mom uncomfortable. I love my mom. I've been trying for 30 years to drive in a way that wouldn't make her uncomfortable. Maybe even 40 years. How old am I, Dad? I've been driving way too long to try and make her happy, when I know
You're
there's no
almost
way in hell
50.
I could never make her happy.
Well, Lee,
My best driving day
Oh
still
my God, I
probably...
freaking love that you just had to ask your dad how old you were. Okay, that was so amazing. I'm sorry. I had to
I
put
love
that in
it.
there. I always ask people how old am I too? Like how old am I? Because I don't I don't care about it. I don't know. It's
Old
weird.
enough to forget my age, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
but it's like you're not living in the age idea. Okay, that's so good.
Well,
I don't know what's
I
better.
am 20
Let
years
me
old in my
ask
brain. I
how
know.
that goes to reply. That's even better.
His reply had me starting to drive as soon as I got out of the womb, which it probably felt a little bit like that.
Definitely
Talk
did.
to us, Papa.
Hey,
well,
oh, hey,
welcome to
Lee, my, oh, I'm
welcome
sorry.
to the Andron Realty Show, reality show.
Hey, Lee, my son
Um,
still makes the hairs on my neck stand up. It's just, listen, I don't think he'll ever drive in the way that I like. So,
Slow down,
yep,
speed up, get closer, get
it's
farther.
all about her for sure.
Those may be the biggest challenges that we have, and I'm blessed to have someone in my life who can give me some little tiny things to react to, so that I can figure out the bigger picture. But it's definitely clear to me that there are as many lessons in this as there are petals on a rose, and every single time it comes back to, let me be calm enough to hear the response God wants me to have, and therein lies my truth and peace and happiness.
so I want to say something here. First of all, when I think it was Adriana who used the word ancestors, so I'm the ancestor here, and with Lee, he's just acting out the things that I did wrong as he was growing up. and I had to learn. And he picked up some of them, but all of them can go. That's the most important thing. All of them can go away. I used to react quickly. I used to cut people off, and I learned to just listen. And the only thing that keeps me most of the time just listening when I'm supposed to be just listening is a little rule that I learned. And that is simply just listen. I don't have to fix this person. I don't have to change that person. I don't have to correct that person because he'll figure it out. Now, how do I know that's true? Because yesterday's lesson was all that I all that I give is given to myself. Okay? And then today it's I forget the exact phrase, but God is all there is, and it's only
There
all
is no love but
God's.
God's.
There it is. Thank you. It's all one thing. Another way of saying it's all you. It's all me. There's only one thing going on. That's God. That's God's love. We are a part of that. Everything else doesn't have to be corrected. We don't have to remember because the rest of it is illusion. We're all perfect as we are. What Tom says so many times, and I get tired of it, we're perfect, whole, and complete. And you're absolutely right, Tom. And sometimes I don't want to hear it again, but I probably need to hear it about a couple of thousand more times because we all make mistakes. And the only difference is whether there's someone else around to correct us or whether we pick it up and realize, oh, I did that again. Last night, I got out of my car. It was raining. I didn't realize it, but I had put my two ear devices in my pocket and they fell on the ground. One of them fell in the car, one of them fell outside the car. About a half an hour later, I realized, I started thinking, where are my ear devices? And I had no idea. And I went and looked at the few places I thought it might have been. I had forgotten that I put it in my pocket. And I also obviously didn't even realize it was lost. I spent about 45 minutes last night in the dark with a flashlight. First with the phone, just trying to give me enough light to find it, looking all over the place. Then I remembered Lee taught me that this iPhone can find the device. Well, he did it once for me, but when I tried to do it, I couldn't figure out how to do it. I wasn't going to call him up because it was at night. So I finally bumbled along enough so that within another half hour, it led me directly to within 3 inches of it. And I looked at it and said, oh, because I found one of them first. The other one was so close by, I didn't realize it. Now I know how the machine works. I know that I don't have to worry about losing them. I can be more careful. It's less stress. What I'm saying here is that, yeah, we picked this up from our ancestors, and I'm here to say, Lee, you got some of your bad behaviors from your ancestor, otherwise known as me, your pop. Okay? And it's that way with life. We learn from others because we think we're correcting them or we're criticizing them, but it's all one. It's all me. It's all you. So when someone else is screwing up, recognize if it's a real clear screw up on their part, you're doing it too. Somehow, in some way. That's why all of this is a reality show. I I think you guys in this room who keep coming back for some crazy reason, you're learning from just watching the way these two guys are playing out life. Adriana and Lee are just showing you what you're also living through and how it happens and why it happens. And you don't even have to be embarrassed. You can just let them be embarrassed as they say it, and you learn the lesson.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's a lot of fun,
Welcome. You're welcome.
and it's great that you come back, because when we put all of this in this beautiful perspective, it's just like watching a movie screen. We're watching a movie play out. If we don't like this movie, we'll go into the Cineplex, go to the next theater, and we watch another theater, another movie. And it all gets to be fun and easier the more we realize that no one else is doing it that much worse than we are. Except, of course, those people we hate, right? Wrong. It's all good. And that's how we can come to this point of saying, hey, it's all good. It's amazing. And sometimes we are not the only ones going through these things. And it's great to hear Tom give his way of looking at it, Adriana give her way of looking at it, Lee. I mean, I bet many of you already know approximately what Lee's going to say or what Adriana's going to say, to some degree. You just don't know the latest episode and the latest lesson that Adriana learned. But bless your heart, Adriana, you have that ability to huh? Louisa? Oh, I thought, okay, I
No,
thought
I'm
something
sorry.
came in.
I'm sorry. No, sorry, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all okay.
Hey, Bob, I
It's all
wanted to
good.
say
And
something.
it's such a delight to
Hey,
listen
Bob,
to both of you. Yes.
you know what, Bob? I have to say, I keep coming back. Well, number one, because of the lesson itself. Um, and I love to hear Lee read it. I really do. I love the way he reads it, and it's so soothing. And I love it because the energy here is beautiful. Um, I feel welcome. I feel accepted. And we all know none of us are perfect. You know, there's nobody here bashing anybody else. As I'm sure you've all been in other rooms where you just don't feel welcome. You just feel like, okay, I'm gonna get shut down. Let me be quiet. Um, there's love here. That's why I keep coming back. And everybody here shares openly and honestly. And I could be myself and get a beautiful lesson and get the miracle. And that's why I keep coming back. And of course, you know, we have Tom that helped guide us through the lessons with his wisdom, and so grateful for his sharing just so openly and willingly without expectation, and just very appreciative of that. Uh, because a lot of times when there are people like that in a room, I don't know, they kind of usually expect you to come buy their book or come to their website or do this or that. There's an expectation there. But he has such a wealth of knowledge that he shares openly. So there's that gift and that benefit as well. And everybody here, everybody's knowledge and experience. And I always get something every single day. So that's why I keep coming back, and I just love it. So thank you, everybody.
And we love you. We
Thank
love
you,
you and
Jean.
your voice too. It's funny because you always mention that you like to hear voice, the lead voice in the reading, but your voice is, I mean, it's like talking about yourself because your voice is
Yeah,
so delightful. Really great, your voice.
Thank
I
you,
want to say
Adriana.
something. Um, I was also going to say that one of the reasons, of course, I come for the course, but I just come for the community that we are building here, and for the voices. Janine and Andy have an amazing voice, and Rosa, and Lee and Adriana, everyone, and Bob. And I want to specifically say thank you, and I love you, and please forgive me, and I'm sorry for. 2 days ago, I think, or three, I don't know when, Andy mentioned Oponopono, and at the same time, someone also mentioned Oponopono the very day, same day. And I've been doing it, and it's just amazing how everything is just shifting in everything. And just a little, it was today I had a class, Pilates class, and there was this girl who came with a little boy, and it was my second class there. They don't know me that much. I don't know them. I don't know their names, anything. So I was a little bit, yeah, I was very trusting, but could sense that some other women were not so happy about the idea of having the child there. And I was super excited and hi and welcome and how is your name and you're going to do with us, and he was like, what is this? And at the end someone said, oh, he's been very calm today, right? He's very loving. And then the mother said to me, yeah, I'm so sorry he was here. And I said, don't be sorry. I love it. I really thank you. I was really the whole time. I forgot to say that during the whole time I was saying to myself, I was repeating, I'm sorry, thank you, please forgive me. And at some moment, the little guy started to move just at the moment of the relaxation, and he started just to be very, like active. He was getting tired, of course, and I kept doing my Ho'oponopono, and he was this sweet guy. It was an amazing shift. And so the mother said sorry, and I say, oh, thank you. Thank you for bringing him here, and please bring him every time you can, because my son was also with me in every yoga class I could, even in the trainings, and now he's 16 and he won't be around any longer doing yoga with me. So just enjoy this moment. And she was like, oh wow, this was it was a shift for everyone. It was different because they were used to having the child not being very quiet. Of course he's a child, and she always feeling super bad at the end of the class because the child was with her. I mean, like, this is not going to be my class. My class is going to be, I mean, this is not my class, but anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for the reminder, because I am applying it, and I could write books about all the mini stories that every second are just happening because of that. Even in the traffic, I am here probably 20 minutes already in a very long traffic jam because there's an accident. I'm just enjoying it. So thank you. Bye bye.
We love you, my friend. We love you, as well as Janine and everybody here. Children are a blessing, aren't they? Yeah, they are a blessing. Every single one of them. All children.
And I love the new picture up there, Adrian, of you and Lee. That's so sweet. We see the love.
I never know exactly what's going on because we have the Zoom thing, and I'm sitting here, and then all of a sudden Lee runs into the other room for
I
something.
had to figure out where I left my phone. Did you use to find my phone?
Let me show you how to find out where your phone is, Lee. I'll
Thanks,
explain
Papa.
it to you.
Adriana got a call from her little girl because children are an amazing blessing. What teaches us better than this part of ourselves that we are completely out of control of, that seems different, that seems separate, but couldn't be more one? Couldn't be more one.
You know, oh, look, we're seeing a little picture of Vera. There she is. I see her.
Yay! She's
I'm
waving
sorry
hi
y'all
to
can't
everybody.
see her. You have to put Vera's picture up for on one of your many icons that we look at all the time. There she is. So sweet. I realized something very amazing to me yesterday, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me, but it turns out that I have a niece named Anna, and she has two twins. Both have blonde hair. They're giggly. They giggle all the time when I see them, and um, they just turned 5. And across the street from me, where I live, is a mother named Kate or Katie, and she has 2 daughters. Both are twins, and they're both giggly little blonde curly hair. I mean, they're like 4 twins. And he's saying, "Oh, poo, Dad." Well, the next.
No,
the,
that wasn't aimed at you at all. I'm
oh,
struggling
okay.
with computers over here. Nothing to worry about.
No
Everything's
problem. No problem. Anyway, it occurred to me yesterday, the next time that Anna comes to visit her mother in this town, I wanted to bring her two twins over here. We will go across the street. These four twins, to me, of course, they all look alike. To the moms, they would know who's who. But I think I asked the woman yesterday, um, have they ever seen a pair of twins? And she said, no. So I said, this is going to really be a lot of fun. Then I had to check with my niece, and it won't happen till Thanksgiving, but I won't forget it just because that kind of thing makes me feel warm and wonderful. And it's an idea that just everybody can share in it. We can watch the kids, how they relate to each other. And it has nothing to do with me, it has nothing to do with anything other than I can facilitate them, the four of them coming together and saying, oh my God, we have it's a room of mirrors, or whatever. Anyway, I think it'll be fun. I'll let you all know when Thanksgiving comes. That's all.
Well, I appreciate everybody coming here. It's been about 2 hours, and I just wanted to thank you for participating here on Clubhouse. It certainly has been a blessing to be able to come and read these lessons. And tomorrow I'll be here to read 128. And I love you all. Have a wonderful day. I'm going to end the stream, but we'll keep going. And of course, the Facebook group that we have, I'll share that up. We keep that going all day long, and I'll do my best to come back and post just the meditation part if you want to come back and do just that part. So have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow at 6:37. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Lee. You did a great job.
I
When you
love you
first
You
met
guys
all.
her,
are amazing. You are so amazing. Good morning.
Rosa,
Hi,
go
Rosa.
for it,
Good morning.
Rosa. Talk to us.
How is everyone?
Doing great,
Fantastic.
Rosa.
I've been listening to everybody, of course. I just listen these days. But I was wondering about the question that Lee put in the chat. And this is a big if you believed love could be earned, which I don't believe love can be earned. It can be given, it can be showed, it can be shared, but it's not earned. It's a gift. Love is something that happens when you're open to it. Uh, and it really, to me, doesn't matter whether you are the giver or the receiver because there is no difference. As the lesson yesterday, as I give, I receive. So if I'm giving love, I'm receiving it. I may not be aware of it, but if I look deeper, I can see that it was a gift and I just have to accept it and not really try to manipulate it and just give it freely and it will be received. And that's the whole thing. The, um, the lessons in the course are so simple that our minds want to complicate it. We want to find out, well, what is it that you love about me? Why do you love me? Most people can't really answer. They can give you all the adjectives that they like in you, but they really don't know why they love you because it's a gift. And we spend so much time in relationships trying to analyze this and give it a name. Why? Because once we start naming things, then we have definitely kind of categorized it until we visit it again. Um, so why just can't we just live in it and be happy that we have it and clarify it and come to an agreement as to how we're going to respond in this love we have for each other. And that's exactly what we do here in this room. We listen, we don't judge, we help, we give love and support when we can. And that's just what life is all about. Love is so Um, it's difficult to try to describe um, a love that you have for someone else or why you have it, you know. But I noticed that when what some of the things that you guys were talking about is that you had to like this person, and I think that that's the true statement. You have to like the person that you're in a relationship with, not just put up with it.
It sure
You know,
helps.
yeah, it does. And if you don't like the person, why are you around it? I mean, is it
I think
important?
that's probably where the ego intersects a lot more. You know, the ego is really looking to get the best out of some situation, and so we tend to go after the things that we really want. That's a helpful thing in the process. That's got to be right.
Yeah, that is.
Well, I
It is.
agree with that because I think you can love someone and not like them, knowing that right now they're doing something that is self defeating and you can't fix that. But that doesn't mean you don't love them. That's one thing. And as Tom says so many times, and he's so right, we're not here to earn love or anything else. We're here to learn. And the best thing we can learn is how to fix ourselves. If we spend all of our time looking at that, everything would be better. And the rest of the time, just loving everybody and loving everything. Because it's really a better world than we tend to think. Remember that our eyes are part of our body and not our mind. So what we see is not really the whole picture. It's what we know inside our minds. I know that I love my wife, but there are times when I don't like what she does. And by the way, Lee, she does exactly the same thing when I'm driving.
I know.
And
For some
and
reason,
yet,
it drives me just as crazy when she does it to you as when she does it to me. It's
well,
the damnedest thing.
and
Like it's not
it
even
doesn't
pointed at
make
me,
any
and I'm
sense.
it's like
It's reactive. It's
But
reactive. It's automatic, and she has not been able to uh, rise above it, and it's okay because
Oh, that's not
now I
her
know.
job.
Most of the time, I just let her drive.
That's not her job, Bob. Her
yeah.
job is not
exactly,
to rise
She's just
above
there to
your.
help us as a mirror. Just enough.
yeah,
No problem.
and Lee, can I say just something you just said? It
Yeah.
drives me crazy when she does it to you and when she does it to me. Actually, she doesn't do it to you. She just do it. She just is.
Yeah.
She's not
Yeah.
doing that to anyone.
Yep. You're right. She's doing it to herself, and she probably hates it just as much in her own head.
She
That you
does.
Maybe
react on
not.
that, but
Maybe
no, she.
maybe you're doing it to yourself.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
You know what?
it's your.
Guys, sorry
That
guys, I
that
just
is
have to call
truly
it out.
it's the real truth. We are sitting in here having our own experience in our own mind, just playing with ourselves. And sometimes that doesn't seem like we're going to get anywhere when you're playing with yourself. But I guess once in a while, that's
It's
what
the
we
only
need.
place you can get to is
The only
yourself.
place we can play.
Yes, it's the only place. It really is. I loved it when Bob said, we're just here fixing ourselves." I wanted so bad to jump in and say, "We're perfect, whole, and complete. There's nothing to fix, Bob."
And you're right.
And you were right.
Well, I don't know if I'm right, but I'm reacting. That's what I'm
We
doing here.
told
I'm
you. You're right.
reacting.
That's how you know you're right. You're right.
Well,
You
okay, all
got it.
right. And you know what? I'm confident that I'm reacting. That's for sure. So I'm confident in that.
And sometimes, we have little commands in our minds that we got embedded in us from a past time. And there's something inside us that might say, I'm not right. And if you come and tell me that I am right, I can argue with you. It's amazing
That's true.
Arguing for our
that we
littleness?
have these
Absolutely.
strange clips in our minds. And life is just about letting go of all that crap. And sometimes we see it in a mirror, meaning from another person. Sometimes we see it in ourselves and we can do something about it. And sometimes it takes some time to do it. But it's all about getting better and about enjoying life more and more the way Rosa does. I mean, that's my goal.
Yeah, it's always about joy, getting back to the basic, the joy,
Amen.
and yeah, and yeah, we are always evolving into going in and saying, maybe I could do this different. But we're definitely being triggered all the time to react, which is okay if it doesn't feel like it's shaking our, if we can actually observe it and it's not shaking us off the true joy. You know what I mean? Like joy, having joy in the experience of seeing how we can take all of those things back to point zero, joy. And not totally point zero. I mean, I'm like here to exist and to react still. But the reactions now bring me joy. I'm just gonna see the joy in them. I really am. And when they feel like they're not bringing me joy, actually they are somehow bringing me joy in the end, where even like to take it back to where, to the very basic, there's joy. There is joy when you undo it all. So yeah, we are going to react from the everything all the time, whether it's and we're not going to notice the ones that feel good, or maybe we notice the ones that feel good. We don't notice the ones that are neutral. Maybe that's what it is, the neutral one. But
The
there's still
reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Nope, I'm that's good with me.
What I was going to say is the reactions, basically, as Adriana said before, that's a command from the past. It's something we did in the past. We are reacting from the past. We all know, also, taking some perspective here, that the past is an illusion. So we don't have to react. We can enjoy the present, and that's the goal that we're heading for. When we're perfect, we will be perfect, whole, and complete. All of that in the moment, every present moment. Until then, we have things to learn, and we learn them piece by piece, usually. We're lucky if they're not all thrown at us at one time. And we all have faults, but we also have a lot of good things, or else someone wouldn't even bother with us telling us that we have a fault or two, or 10, or whatever. We all have it, and it's just great to have all you guys here. I love this group. I really do. And it gives me such pleasure to keep coming back. And when Lee started reading, if you remember when we first started this thing, I was doing a lot of the reading. And at first, he started reading a little bit, and that's fine. And he started reading a little bit more, and that's fine. And at some point, he took over. And I said, damn it, Lee, to myself, I know better. And now I enjoy so much listening to him. He's my son, and I'm seeing how terrific he does it. Why shouldn't, why can't I at first just enjoy that? But that's not the way the ego works. It likes to scream in there at first and throw some crap at us. So just duck and move on. That's all I got to say for today. I love you all. Thank you for coming. Bye.
Thank you, Bob. Bye, Bob.
I guess that was it from him. Well, I really appreciate you all being here. I think I successfully recorded enough of this that everybody can get what they want. And I really appreciate you guys. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for helping.
Have a beautiful Saturday, everybody. Namaste.
Namaste, namaste. Have a beautiful
Wonderful
day.
day. Love it.
So, life is good. See you tomorrow. Peace and love.
See you tomorrow, everybody. Thank you.